200 miles inland from the Antarctic coast sits a sector marked on official maps as dead ice. There are no mineral claims here, no active military presence, just endless screaming wind and 3 miles of solid frozen nothing. On December 4th, 2024, at exactly 3:17 a.m., the South Pole Listening Array intercepted an emergency broadcast. The signal was weak and fragmented, transmitting on a frequency that had been dead since 1932. Every night at the same time, the message repeated, adding one word every 24 hours. Come below. Cold. Then waiting. Then hungry. Someone was building a sentence. This waveform analysis chart compares the smooth decay of modern radio frequencies with the signal intercepted from Perseus. The isotopic signature in the signal distortion is nearly a century old, a physical impossibility for an evolving live broadcast. The evolving structure of the message indicates an active, ancient intelligence trapped beneath the ice, deliberately attempting to communicate with the surface. To find the source, researchers brought in Dr. Elias Mercer. Mercer specialized in archaeoacoustics, the science of recovering historical audio trapped inside glaciers, similar to the ice cores being measured here. Mercer identified the voice as having a 1920s mid-Atlantic cadence, and quickly assembled a 5-person specialist team to locate its origin before the signal could change again. By January, the team was loaded onto an icebreaker and pushed into Sector 12. They spent 9 days moving heavy equipment inland through total whiteout conditions, traveling across a landscape with 0 landmarks. The team was now completely cut off from the outside world, hunting a human voice in a place where human life cannot survive. On the 10th day, the signal spiked. Probing the drifts, the team discovered this: a 30-foot radio mast, its red paint almost entirely stripped away. Stamped with the insignia of the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Survey, the mast belonged to a British expedition that vanished without explanation in 1931. No survivors or wreckage had ever been found, until now. Beneath the snow lay a perfectly preserved camp. Inside frozen tents, they found 7 bodies with skin blackened by frost. Every single corpse was found with its eyes wide open, facing south toward a jagged crack in the ice. Mercer recovered Captain Arthur Vail's journal. The final entries described a signal coming from deep within the stone, and voices that mimicked the breathing of the crew. Vail's last words warned that the ice was opening to swallow his men. The 1931 expedition had been systematically lured in and hunted by an entity weaponizing human sounds. At exactly 3:17 a.m., the unpowered mast suddenly activated. The transmission was louder and more distinct, broadcasting a 6-word sequence into the camp. This thermal radar scan shows what the biologist found 300 feet beneath the camp. Enormous vertical heat blooms moving through solid ice. Nothing of that scale should generate so much body heat embedded in deep Antarctic ice. That morning, the radio operator, Barrett, vanished. His tent had been ripped open from the inside, and at 3:17 a.m., the broadcast changed again. The message was now being delivered in Barrett's exact voice. The team's security specialist found Barrett standing in the dark outside the tents, naked and completely frozen. He was smiling, a grin that split his face almost to the ears, and laughing with vocal cords that were clearly not human. The expedition had encountered a biological mimic, an organism adapted to wear human identities as a lure for its prey. Driven by an obsession to communicate, Mercer ignored the team's pleas and descended alone into the caverns. His helmet camera captured the entire descent. The footage revealed the walls of the ice tunnels were covered in thousands of scratched English words. These creatures had been practicing, building a vocabulary over decades as they observed the surface. At the bottom, Mercer found a massive chamber. Behind a wall of translucent ice, dozens of towering, shadowed figures shifted slowly, watching him. In the final moments of the feed, Mercer whispered, "What are you?" Every voice in the chamber answered back at once, in perfect English. "We are what answers back." By deciphering our language and building a vocabulary over nearly a century, this species has effectively turned our own communication into its primary hunting tool. Mia Calder was the sole survivor, found 8 miles from camp with no memory. The government immediately sealed Station Perseus and classified the incident as a methane collapse. but the cover-up failed to stop the transmission. The South Pole Array still picks up the broadcast every night at 3:17. The most recent intercepted message is now 13 words long. Come below, cold waiting, hungry, dark, open, we learn you come.
Last night, for the first time, a second voice joined the broadcast.
It was identified as Mia Calder, who has been dead since 2025. She said only this: do not let them
Finish the sentence.
If this species completes its understanding of us, the ice will no longer be enough to hold them back.